Okay, so today I have with me Mr. Dale Hefner. Um, Dale is one of our students for the black check trading system, and he has been very gracious enough to spend some time with me to answer some questions. How you doing today, Dale?
Just fine, Alan. You doing fine?
I'm doing great. I'm doing great. Um,
Excellent.
So I wanted to start off by getting a little background on you. So if you could tell our listeners a little bit about yourself, how long you've been trading, what your situation is right now, where you're at, anything that you think would be beneficial.
Well, I traded in stocks off and on for years. I was a self-employed business owner, and I retired back in March of 2015. Closed my business, and I, um, I toyed with options back in '07 to about '09. With a gentleman by the name of May. I don't know whether you ever knew him. He specialized in gold futures, and I was intrigued with his system as I am with yours on crude oil, and I started. I think it was a very worthwhile program. I think it cost me like $97 back then or something, and he would. Like you, he would tell when he was making a trade, what position he was taking, etc. And this was buying options, though, not selling.
Mm-hmm.
And this guy had just he had a uniqueness about him. I guess he had traded gold so many years that he could just really tell when it was time to get in the market, because I went probably 7, 8 months with him without a losing trade.
Wow.
And then he retired. He wrote all of his students email one day and let us know he was retiring and moving to South Carolina. And I went completely off of my plan, and I started playing pretty heavy after that, buying gold options, and I did pretty well until about mid-year of that next year, and then I took a very big loss, and I thought, well, I've learned my lesson, and then I got tied up in my business, and I just didn't have time to go back and study anymore. And then I got to buying some options on futures, cattle futures, things of that nature. Tried that for a while, made some money, lost some money, and then about 2011, I was surfing the web and happened to run onto your little website, and I signed up with you, and it's been nothing but good fortune ever since.
So 2011, that was the OptionGenius that you signed up with?
Yes.
Yep.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I was originally started started doing spreads, following you on the rut, the SPX, the ETFs, and doing the iron condors and the spreads. Didn't do as many iron condors as you were doing, but I did do some.
Mm-hmm.
And then I went to doing the spreads, and I had good luck on spreads, but I had many friends in the oil business back then, and still do. And I had been exposed to the oil field industry some years back, and I started looking at it, and then all of a sudden, voila, out of clear blue, you announced that you were going to start blank check traders, and I was elated when you did. I thought, well, this is going to be right down my alley, and you haven't let me down, or any of your students, from the way I can read on the Facebook page.
Yeah, well, we've tried not to. um, so, so do you do this? You're still working, or you're full-time trading, or how
Yeah,
long does it take?
I'm more or less, well, I guess you could call it full-time. I have nothing other than that to do, that fish. And I probably make 3 to 4 trades a month. I think last year I made a total of 31 trades, and after I took my losses off of some of the trades that I made, I think I netted about $17,000.
Very nice. Very nice.
And starting this year, I've been in 2 trades. I'm in one now, as I told you earlier on an email. I entered some 47.5 foots last week. The trade before that, I went in with 5 contracts on selling. Well, let me look it up here. I can tell you.
Mm-hmm. But like, so Dale, how long does it take you to do the trading in time wise?
Well, I don't. I try not to stay in a trade over 20 days if I can.
Mm-hmm. Okay. No, but I'm talking like in the minutes, like does it take you 2 hours a day, 4
Oh,
hours a
oh
day?
no, my gosh, no. I get up. I'm an early riser. I get up 5:30, 6 o'clock. I have my coffee. Then when the market opens, I've already got my screen up, my Thinkorswim platform up. Maybe read a few fundamentals, things of that nature, and then I start watching the market. And if it looks pretty non-volatile, I may go into town, spend some time there. I may go over to my old business office and spend some time there. And then that afternoon, I might check it and see if I need to make an adjustment or get out.
Okay, so not
And
really that much time.
yeah,
Not
I'd say if I spent a total of an hour a day, that would be probably extravagant.
okay. All right. And I do have a personal question for you because I know that we get a lot of folks who are retired or looking to retire soon, and I often get this comment from a lot of people that, hey, Alan, I'm in my 60s, or Alan, I'm close to 70, and I just don't have, I don't know if I'm going to be able to learn something new. It's going to be complicated. I've never done this type of trading before. What would you say to them?
Well, you just almost to the verbatim said the same things that some of my friends and associates that I know asked me. They said, "Well, Dale, how are you doing at retiring? And what are you doing? What are you doing with yourself?" And I get around to telling them that that I met you on the internet a long time ago, back in 2011. And that I'm selling options, and it intrigues them, and then I get to tell them about it, and then you can see some of them get impressed about it, and then some of them get very skeptical, and as you said, well, I don't know whether I can learn it, and I just tell them frankly, what is there to learn, really? I said, you can spend a few $100, and I can put you on to a young man that if you'll follow his advice and follow his webinars, you can follow his trades along with him. If you want to go with ETFs or indexes or whatever, but I said I've made it my goal to learn the commodities market. I love it, and that's why I've told you in the past, on past conversations, that I feel like I've found my niche. I'm 78 years old. I don't have to make a lot of money, but it sure is nice to have $25, $30, $40,000 a year more coming in.
Mm-hmm. Nice.
And for people that get bored during the day, I think it would be, there's times that I come in here and look, if it's snowing outside or bad weather outside, this is a contradiction maybe, but if I've got my screen up, I'll come in and check it once every hour, just for something to do. It gives me something to do.
Yeah. Well, I mean, if you're making that much and the time you're spending on it, per hour, you're doing pretty well. So, um, you know.
Well, I'll put it this way. Had I known that it was like this and that I could find someone like you that could explain it in terms that I understood without making it, sound like it was, like some people, they bring in the Greeks to it and all that. Well, I've studied the Greeks, and rightfully so. You need to know something about the Greeks if you're going to play options. But I think it's the greatest thing that ever happened. I wish it had happened to me 20 years ago. I'd have probably retired had it happened, and I'd had the fortunate of meeting you, the good fortune of meeting you 20 years ago. I'd probably retired 10 years since.
Well, I appreciate that. Yeah. All right. So now when we're specifically talking about the blank check and the oil trading, how long did it take you? I know you've already, you said that you had been doing some gold options before, but
Right.
how long did it take you to get a good firm understanding of doing it doing it the way that it's taught in the course?
Oh gosh, for my part, I think about the second webinar that you had, Alan. I was pretty well convinced that you had a program and a system that you had developed for yourself that I could identify with. Now, I'm not saying that I always go along, but every time I have it, I've been clipped too for a loss. So I don't think that anyone, if they follow the 15 rules, they don't have to be religious nuts to do it, but if they will at least when they make a mistake, put it down as to what they did, how they did it, why they did it, and most of the time I find it's greed with me. I'll look at a trade knowing in the back of my mind that it's probably, in all probability, going to be a losing trade, and I'll be doggone if I don't, and the ones that I've let go past 20 delta, there, I think maybe 2 last year, but I had about 36 days left on the trade.
Mm-hmm.
So that gave me some time. Time is in your favor there. But if I'm over 18, 19 delta and it's 2 weeks out, I may wait till it hits that magic 20, but I'm usually out of there.
Mm-hmm.
If I've only got about 2 weeks left.
Okay. All right. What was not specifically about the course? What was your favorite part of it? Do you remember?
Well, I liked your explanation, for instance, that crude oil is one of the few commodities that's never going to go to zero. That got my attention. It got me to thinking. I thought, well, he's very, very astute observer, because it's not. It can't. No way. the other thing that got me is I really think that naked options on oil especially. Now I've tried them on soybeans, and I tried them on some corn, and fortunately I made some money by selling them. But my primary one is the crude oil.
Yeah. Yeah, there's just something about crude that has a different dynamic, I think, than the other commodities because it's, um, everything else, at least the ones that I've been, like with soybeans and, corn and all the ag ones, they're really dependent on the volume and the
Right.
weather. Sometimes you get a bumper crop and all of a sudden the price just hits the floor. Same thing like you have with natural gas. They keep finding more and more natural gas, and
Right.
the price just is not rising. Um, but it's not as in demand as crude oil is. Um, and so it's something that is there's a lot of players in the crude oil market, and they kind of bring in some support to it as well because it's
That's
used
true.
in so many different ways. Um, so I mean I've tried to see if we could replicate it in some other markets, but I haven't been able to do it yet. And it's just the way that we came up with the rules and the way that the crude oil works together. It's just been.
Kind of fits like a glove, doesn't it?
Yeah, pretty much, pretty much. So what do you think about the materials, the course materials, and the support that was offered with the course?
I thought they were very well presented in a very basic, congenial type way that you could read or attend one of your webinars and ask a few questions. Really, you've been very good about answering a lot of my questions in your webinars without me ever asking. I'd have it in mind to ask, but very often you covered it during the webinar without me having to ask.
Okay, cool. All right. So now I think you've already alluded to it, but how has the course changed things for you? Your outlook on the future, on your trading, your mindset, your skill level.
Well, it's given me a purpose to, like I say, I've been an early riser, and instead of twiddling my thumbs or going out and walking for 10 miles and then coming back and sitting down in my lounge chair and maybe taking a siesta, it's given me something that I can check on each and every day that I'm in a trade. It's given me the opportunity to prove to myself at my age that you can, if you're willing, open your mind and learn something new. It's giving me it's rewarded me monetarily. It's, as you know, you're a family man. It's allowed me to do things for my grandchildren, do things for my wife, my family that probably I would have been hesitant on doing. Not that I probably couldn't afford it, but it just gives you that extra confidence.
Mm-hmm. Yep. And I know that you've been very you've been active in the Facebook group, and you've been helping along, all the other members in there as well with your experience and posting up your trades and answering their questions and whatnot. So I appreciate that as well. I think the next step is we're gonna get you to be one of our trainers. You're gonna make you a coach.
Well, I don't know about that.
But yeah, I mean, it's something, like if you wanted to, right? If you had a friend, or if you had a son or a daughter or a grandson or granddaughter or cousin or somebody that wanted to do it, you have the tools in your hands that you can say, hey, let's do
Right,
this together, you know? Um,
right,
let's learn it together, and you can get the same benefits that I've gotten. So
right.
that's one of the things that for me at least, I know that, yeah, I'm putting away money for my kids' college educations, right? We got 3 kids right now, and I'm putting money away, but I'm sincerely hoping that when they get a little older and they can start understanding this stuff, that I can teach it to them. And so if they can do it profitably, they can do it well, they'll never have to settle for a job that they don't enjoy, because if
And
that,
that
go ahead.
that should impress anyone.
Yeah, I mean, if the money aspect is taken care of, then, they can go ahead and go to study whatever you want in college or whatnot, and then go do what your heart wants, and then you can do this for the money, so you don't have to just work for a job or, mind-numbing work or anything else that people have to
Exactly.
deal with. But so I'm very happy, and I'm very gracious and honored that, for everything that you've said so far. So if you had, a friend or a relative that said, hey, I'm thinking about doing this program, you told me about it, I'm thinking about doing it, sounds interesting, what would you say to them?
Well, I'd advise them to run and not walk to the nearest computer and or call you and enroll in either your OptionGenius course or your blank check.
Cool. All right. Appreciate that. Now, now, when it comes to, like futures and futures options, right? A lot of people have a tendency to stay away from them because they have gotten a rap as being very risky. So we have, people, a lot of the general population, they know what a stock is and they know how stocks go up and down. Fewer people know about options. And so they think that options are really risky. And then when you come to futures and futures options, it's kind of like, oh my God, I know somebody who lost a lot of money in futures. I would never even consider that. What did you've been doing it for a while, but like even after the course, how do you feel about the risk that is involved in trading futures options versus trading stocks or stock options?
Well, the reward to the risk profile for me would be that that's one of the reasons that I solidified on the futures options. I did quite well in your OptionGenius courses on some spreads, but I also had to watch the spreads more closely. Indexes and ETFs and stocks can it doesn't take much of a move to get you either having to make some adjustments or make a decision right quick whether to get in or out or stay in or out. With crude oil, just since we've been talking here in the last 15 or 20 minutes, for instance, I've just out of habit pulled up my screen. I'm looking, and crude oil has advanced almost 45 cents since we've been talking.
Mm-hmm.
I was losing some money. Probably I'm approaching the break-even point now on my puts. So I would tell people that are hesitant about futures, particularly commodity futures, and hesitant about options, I would suggest that they take at least one course and dive in and just pay their enrollment fee to OptionGenius and try that for a while, and that's what I did. And then you came along with a blank check, and I enrolled in it, and that's, like I say, I found that it absorbed me more than the spreads on the ETFs, the indexes, and the stocks.
Mm-hmm.
I'm not saying I won't go back and play a few of those, trade some of those, but right now I'm from the old school that why argue with success?
Right. What works, keep doing it, right?
Right.
Okay. So Dale, I know I've kept you for a while. Do you have anything else that you would want our listeners to know?
Well, if there's anyone that hears this conversation between you and I would suggest that they at least get on the internet if they have a computer, laptop, whatever, and go to your site, OptionGenius.com. Read. I think you've got a few examples in there for them even.
Mm-hmm.
And then if they're married people, talk with their wife. If they're single and they're needing to get financially stable, it doesn't take a lot of money. That's another thing. It doesn't take a lot of money to do this. You can start with, well, I started, I think, with, I guess I'm more fortunate than some people. I started with $4,000.
How much? 4,000?
Yeah.
Okay.
And, you know, I never lost it.
Mm-hmm.
And I just kept building on it. And I know that there's some people that I've talked to. I've got a good friend by the name of George Green here that has played futures, not options, but futures for years, and he has gotten filthy rich. George is one of those guys that I like to point to that he's just like a Dow Jones chart on the market. He's up one day and down the other, and I've seen him lose thousands and thousands of dollars, but over the long run, well, I'll put it this way: he pays his bills, and he has never had a bill collector call on him.
But I wanna back up on something, if you don't mind sharing. You said you started with 4, but last year you
Yep.
made 17.
Yep.
So did you add more money to it, or did you just keep building?
No, I just kept building.
Wow. So what are you up to now?
Well, right now with the trade, see, last year was my first full year with blank check
Okay.
when I switched over from OptionGenius to blank check.
Right.
And I finished the year out. I was going through it today looking because I've got to go to my accountants the latter part of this week. And I was looking, and I think it was $17,123 that I made. How much of that will go to taxes, I don't know. But that was before commissions now.
Mm-hmm.
And then since the first of the year, I went to Phoenix on December the 27th to visit our daughter and grandkids, and I put a trade on before I left. While I was out there, I bought back the puts I was in, and then I'm in a trade now.
Wow. No, that's amazing. I mean, I don't have a calculator in front of me, so I can't calculate that return, but you know, to make 17,000 on a $4,000 investment, that's like, you know, no wonder nobody believes you. What is that?
Well,
That's like over
and
400%.
I probably started out playing. I'm just dumb enough to, if one contract is good enough, then four is even better. And I wouldn't advise everybody to start out, but I could have very well afforded, Alan, and I'm not saying hopefully in a braggadocious manner, but I could have afforded to have lost the 4,000. Most
Right.
people can.
Yeah.
But I was fortunate, and the good Lord was shining on me.
Yeah. No, but you've also been very diligent in it, and you followed, you know, you followed the game plan, and like you said, you stayed on top. It's not like something you just did it and you forgot about it. But kudos to you. That's amazing.
Well,
I know you did well. I didn't know you did that well. That's
you deserve a lot of the kudos yourself, Alan, because I think here a while back when you had a blank check trading seminar. It was a repeat, and you noticed that I was online watching, and I think you typed in and told me, said, this is a repeat, Dale. You don't need to be in on it. I typed back and told you that, yes, I did, because you never stop learning. You know,
Yeah.
you may miss something in one, and it doesn't hurt to refresh your mind on things.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir. No, you are an inspiration, my friend. Yep. I hope that when I'm 78, you said?
Yeah.
Yeah, I hope when I'm 78, I'm half as alert as you are.
my, if my wife was here, she'd tell you I'm not alert enough.
All right. Well, I think I've kept you long enough. I'm going to let you get back to your family. I do appreciate you taking the time to talk with me today. It's been very inspirational and very enlightening, and I'm sure that everybody listening has got a lot out of it. So I do thank you so much for that, Dale.
Well, that's fine, Alan. It's been my pleasure. And you tell all your students, wish them a very Merry Christmas and a Happy New Year. We're already into the new year. I just hope they're all successful.
Amen to that, brother. All right. Good night.
Thank you.